Comic Tropes YouTuber calls for Marvel to abandon the Punisher after Donald Trump protests a rally in Washington, D.C. Oh, yeah. So Chris Pierce, who does the Comic Tropes YouTube channel and, talks about comic books and their history and all that stuff, has all kind of details like that. Most of them I thought were pretty much okay, but there's a few of them. But, well, jeez. Oh, boy, here we go. How do you make something in the news about yourself? Well, apparently, one of the guys in the Washington, D.C. Siege had a Punisher logo on his outfit. And, Peters, he caught that. And he said, Marvel needs to either aggressively enforce the trademark so it isn't printed everywhere. Well, could it be on a t-shirt or something? What if the guy buys it? Then what? Oh, man, the idiocy of this. Or abandon the Punisher completely. Yes. Had a TV series. There's work details that he'll be in a movie. But no. Cancel all that. Because you can't allow your characters to be used by terrorists. So that's what you got to avoid. I guess if they had a Superman t-shirt on, can't have that. What about Batman? Could have had that too. Oh, no. Oh, you can't use those anymore. This reminds me of the argument made about people claiming that the OK symbol was a symbol for white supremacy. And some idiot writer, I forget who, said, yeah, I know it's not really, but some white supremacists have gone ahead and adopted it, so therefore we have to just pretend like it's theirs and never use it again. So if you like Punisher comics, you got to throw them away now, because you don't want to be associated with terrorists, do you? Yeah. Well, it all depends on the protests that are violent and nasty and what is their political bent. So these guys were right-wingers and Trump supporters, so therefore they're very bad. But Black Lives Matter, which resulted in several people dead, God knows how much destruction, property. By the way, the murder victims were mostly black, ironically enough. Nevertheless, Tropes doesn't have a problem with that. And here he is in a tweet. He was so proud of Frank Miller doing a little poster or artwork for Black Lives Matter. How about that? Yeah, poor old Frank. There he is. And it's that sad image of an old guy desperate to be relevant to the cool kids. But he wasn't alone. No, it turns out the co-creator of the Punisher himself, Jerry Conway, had already kind of done this, where he wanted the Punisher to be a symbol for Black Lives Matter. Even though he said, I'm looking for young comic book artists of color. If you're white, need not apply. Neo-segregation is really in. Who'd like to participate in a small fundraising project for BLM to reclaim the Punisher skull as a symbol of justice, rather than lawless police oppression. Respond and follow so we can DM. Well, the Punisher was never a police officer. There was a movie where he was, but they just didn't want to deal with the whole being a soldier from Vietnam and all that sort of stuff. You know how it works. It was never really a symbol of justice. It was a symbol of revenge. That was the deal with the Punisher. He's basically the Death Wish character in the superhero world. He was not on par with Spider-Man and Captain America. No. But it's escapist revenge fantasy, and that was the point. You'd think Jerry would know. He wrote those stories, but again, when you're desperate to be relevant to the cool kids, got to do that. So Tropes didn't have any problem with any of that apparently. Never mind the $1 billion+ in property damage. How over 30 killed. I've heard it's nearly over 100. No. That's don't mess about that. But the terrible events, January 6, 2021 in Washington D.C. Oh boy, yeah. People did die. Yeah, they did. So what do? Find a picture with a guy with a Punisher picture on his, whatever that is, his hat or I can't even see the picture. It's pretty blurry. But nevertheless, I'll take his word for it that it's there and make it about you and your channel because you're the comic book guy. And that's what you do in this rather horrific scene. Let's take advantage of it, shall we, and exploit it in some way and present a completely idiotic argument. Because again, what if he was wearing a Superman shirt? Well, you got to abandon it, huh? What if he was wearing a shirt with Comic Tropes logo? God. So, yeah, is Mr. Pierce really a nasty guy? No, he's just very stupid and ignorant. And that's unfortunate because when there's a story like this, unless you were there and involved in it and you have some insight on it, but then when you try to make it a part of your little business here, and it's really cheap and tawdry. So the argument in and of itself is very stupid and therefore insulting. And the motivation here, I don't think is very good. I think it's very bad. But again, got to give the guy a pass to some degree, because I think he's, in this case, quite the idiot.